You've been trying to fix it, to make it make sense, to wrestle the chaos into order, or at least make it stop hurting. But no matter how much you overthink, avoid, or control, some things still don't change. Some wounds still throb, no matter how tightly you wrap them. And maybe, just maybe, it's because the answer isn't more force. Maybe the answer is acceptance. Not the kind that's passive, not the kind that shrugs and gives up, but the quiet, defiant kind where you look at life and say, I see you, and I'm not running. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." At first, that sounds harsh. Why would something painful be what I need? But with time, you begin to see that resistance is its own form of suffering. You begin to notice how much peace was lost, simply because you couldn't allow what already is. This video isn't about staying silent. It's about choosing when not to fight. It's about stepping out of the storm, not because it ended, but because you no longer live inside it. And if you find this reflection speaks to something in you, you're not alone here. Consider subscribing, not out of habit, but because you're building a practice of strength that looks quieter than the world ever taught you to admire. Number 1, the first surrender, accepting what hurts. There's a certain pain you've been carrying, not loud, not visible, but it lingers like a quiet pulse beneath your daily life. It shows up in small ways when you laugh to hide it, when you stay busy to outrun it, when you tell yourself, I'm fine, even though you feel like something inside you is unraveling. But here's the truth. You're not broken because you hurt. You're human because you feel. Seneca once wrote, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." But many of us do more than that. We suffer again and again because we never fully face what's already happened. You think acceptance means being okay with the pain. It doesn't. It means being with the pain without turning away, like standing in the rain and realizing you're still breathing, still here, still whole, despite the storm. When you stop resisting the ache, something begins to shift. You stop leaking energy into the fantasy of what should have been. You stop hiding from a truth that's already in you. Pain loses power, not when it disappears, but when it's finally seen. So ask yourself gently, what am I still fighting that's already over? The first act of healing is surrender, not to weakness, but to what is. And when you let yourself feel it, really feel it, you find that pain doesn't define you, but denying it does. Number 2, life is flowing water, not a fixed shape. You've tried to hold life still, to grasp it with tight hands, to build routines, plans, identities, anything to give shape to the chaos. But life doesn't stay still. It moves, like water. Some days it trickles gently, soft and manageable. Other days it crashes down like a flood, sweeping away what you thought was certain. And it's here that Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, offers a quiet truth. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. You don't conquer life by freezing it. You meet it moment by moment, like a river you've learned to float in, not dam up. The illusion is that if you hold on tightly enough, you'll feel safe. But it's the grasping that drowns you, like a swimmer thrashing in deep water. Panic makes you sink. But stillness, trust, letting go, that's what keeps you afloat. Acceptance isn't resignation, it's adaptability. It's saying, I don't need life to be perfect, I only need to be present. So you loosen your grip, you allow the current to carry you, not because you gave up, but because you finally stopped resisting what's already moving. Can you be like the river, shifting, flowing, and still deeply grounded in where it's going? Because peace doesn't come from making the water still. It comes from learning how to move with it. Number 3, don't argue with reality, align with it. You waste so much of your strength not living but arguing with what already is. You replay conversations. You wish the past had gone differently. You resist moments that don't match your plans. And in doing so, you bleed energy into a battle that has no opponent, only truth. Epictetus said, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." Reality doesn't hurt as much as our refusal to accept it does. It's like standing in the wind and shouting for it to stop, as if your voice could calm a storm. But the oak tree doesn't yell at the wind. It bends, it adjusts, and in that bending, it survives. Acceptance isn't about liking everything. It's about seeing things clearly. It's the discipline of not making your peace conditional on whether life follows your script. When you align with what is, you reclaim power. You stop arguing with gravity and start learning how to walk with it. So the next time you feel the urge to resist, to protest against the now, pause. Ask yourself, am I meeting reality? Or am I wrestling a shadow of what I wish was here? Because when you stop resisting life's weight, you might just find you were strong enough to carry it all along. Number 4, the trap of control. Free yourself from illusion. You've spent years trying to control the uncontrollable. Your future, other people's opinions, the way life should unfold on your terms. You've tried to organize chaos into a checklist, tried to turn uncertainty into something predictable, manageable, safe. But deep down, you already know that kind of control doesn't exist. Lao Tzu once said, "By letting it go, it all gets done." But you cling tighter, hoping if you just try harder, things will bend to your will. And it works until it doesn't. Until life reminds you you're not the puppeteer. You're the one tangled in the strings. Imagine holding sand in your fist. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips away. But open your hand, and suddenly it rests gently in your palm. That's what acceptance feels like. It's not weakness. It's choosing where to place your energy, not in forcing, but in flowing. When you stop needing to control everything, you begin to notice what you can control. Your choices, your attitude, your presence. So ask yourself, what am I clinging to that was never mine to hold? Because the truth is, peace doesn't come when you finally fix everything. It comes when you realize you never had to fix it in the first place. You just had to let go. Number 5, the paradox of peace. Acceptance isn't giving up. You've been taught that to accept something means to surrender, to wave the white flag, to lose. But what if that's not true? What if real acceptance isn't about defeat, but about choosing a deeper kind of freedom? There's a quiet moment that comes when you finally stop fighting reality and you realize you were never losing. You were just exhausting yourself in a war you didn't have to fight. The Buddha once said, "Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional." You can't avoid every hardship, but you can stop adding layers of struggle on top of it. You can stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" Picture a lotus flower. It doesn't bloom in clean, filtered water. It grows from mud, from the darkest, most stagnant places. And still, it rises. So what if your peace isn't found in changing the past, but in transforming your relationship to it? What if strength looks like saying, "I don't love what happened, but I no longer need to hate it either"? Because acceptance isn't giving up, it's growing up. It's taking ownership of your inner world, even when the outer world refuses to cooperate. So, what parts of your life are waiting to bloom if you just stop demanding the soil be perfect? Peace doesn't mean the storm is gone. It means you've stopped being swept away by it. Number 6, accepting others as they are, not as you wish. You've spent so much energy trying to decode them, to fix them, to get them to understand you, love you better, show up the way you need. But people are not puzzles. They are entire storms and sunsets, shaped by winds you'll never fully know. And yet, you've held on to the idea that if you just explain it the right way, if you give enough, if you love them more purely, maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll become the version of themselves you wish they could be. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events, and that includes other people. Acceptance doesn't mean tolerating cruelty. It means seeing clearly. It means loving someone without rewriting them in your imagination first. Like standing before a tree and no longer wishing it were a different shape. You stop trimming it to fit your expectation, and you start appreciating the wildness of how it actually grew. You can still set boundaries, you can still walk away, but do it with your eyes open, not hoping they'll become someone they're not, but accepting them as they already are. And maybe the most radical act of acceptance is releasing the story that their behavior means something about you. So ask yourself, am I loving who they truly are, or clinging to who I hope they'll become? Because peace in relationships isn't found in control. It's found in clarity. Number 7, the courage to face the present moment. You keep chasing tomorrow, replaying yesterday, anything to avoid this one fragile, powerful moment, now. Because the present doesn't always feel safe. It's unfiltered. It asks you to feel what you've been numbing, to see what you've been avoiding, to be here without distraction, without performance, without the comfort of later. But the Stoics knew something most of us forget. The present moment is the only place your life is actually happening. Socrates taught, the unexamined life is not worth living, but examining your life means facing it, sitting in it, feeling it all, without numbing, without running. It's like standing barefoot on wet grass at dawn. There's no filter, no screen, just the sharp, beautiful aliveness of now. And it takes courage, not the kind people applaud, the quiet kind, the kind that lets you stay with a feeling long enough to learn its name. Because when you avoid the present, you abandon yourself. You become a ghost in your own story. But when you face it, even trembling, you return to your breath, to your body, to your life. So ask yourself, what have I been postponing? That's waiting for me in this very moment. Because real peace isn't found in escaping the present. It's found in inhabiting it. And when you finally stop running, you discover something sacred. This moment was never your enemy. It was your invitation. Number 8, your identity is not your story. You've been walking around with a story on your back. Wounds disguised as facts, regrets disguised as who you are. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that what happened to you is you. That your mistakes, your heartbreaks, your traumas are etched into your name like a scar that can't fade. But that's not truth. That's memory dressed as identity. Viktor Frankl once said that between what happens to us and how we respond, there's a space, and in that space is your power, your freedom. You are not the pain that shaped you. You are the space that chooses how to carry it. Like a snake shedding its skin, you're allowed to grow beyond what once protected you. You're allowed to loosen the stories that once kept you safe, but now keep you small. Yes, the past happened. Yes, it mattered. But it is not the limit of who you can become. Acceptance doesn't mean denying your story. It means reclaiming it, looking it in the eye and saying, I see you, I honor you, but I am not you. Ask yourself, who might I be if I stopped narrating my life from old pain? Because your identity isn't found in what you've survived. It's found in what you choose now. You are not your past. You are the author of your next page. So here you are. After all the struggling, all the holding on, you're starting to realize it was never the pain that kept you stuck. It was the resistance. You thought acceptance meant giving up, that if you stopped fighting, you'd drown. But look closely. The moment you let go, you didn't sink, you floated. You stopped trying to rewrite the past, stopped trying to control the future, and in that stillness, something softened. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, everything that happens is either endurable or not. If it is endurable, then endure it. If it is unendurable, then stop complaining. Your destruction will mean its end as well. A bit sharp, yes, but underneath the words is an undeniable truth. You've already survived what you thought you couldn't. You're stronger than you think. You've spent years resisting what already is. But acceptance is not weakness. It's your quiet return to what's real, to what's true, to what's here. It's the moment the storm keeps raging, but you are no longer swept away. So let this be your closing reflection. What part of your life are you still trying to fix instead of feel? Because when you stop resisting, you begin living. And if this journey resonated with something deep in you, stay close. Subscribe, not for me, but for the version of you that's ready to stop running and finally start becoming.